What's up, y'all? We're back at it again. Cold Skill Fun Day. I put this video out there last night, but I wanted to redo it again because I didn't really give it much justice like I should with that format I was doing. So I'm gonna do it in this format, make it better. Witches of Baltimore. Young black women leaving Christianity and embracing African witchcraft in the digital covens. This came out earlier this week, November 5th. We may not be Christians here, but we will still pray to the woman dressed entirely in white as she dresses all large audience of African American women standing behind the election screen. Speaking in cadence as a preacher, she added, I understand God, Lord, now when I'm doing more than I ever did in church. The calling response that followed, no one's going to protect us, but who? Us. With reminiscent of the church. But this is no traditional sermon. The speaker, Iskosi Umfundisi, was giving the keynote address of last month's third annual Black Witches Convention, which brought together some 200 women in Baltimore Reception Hall, in a small but growing community placed in favor of young black women who are leaving Christianity in favor of their ancestors' African spiritual traditions and finding ease and power in the process. Over the past decade, white millennials have embraced witchcraft in droves. Now, a parallel phenomenon is emerging among black millennials. While the exact numbers are difficult to gauge, it is clear that African American pop culture has started to reflect a churn. In the music industry alone, there is Beyonce's allusion to the African goddess in Lemonade and at the Grammys. Lisa Banks' declaration that she practiced Barika, Spanish term for witchcraft, and Princess Noria his brothers, in which she tells white witches everything you got from us. It's part of, African culture, African nationalism. African witchcraft originated in West Africa, the birthplace of Europe. Several religious traditions focus on the reverence of the ancestors and the worship of the vast pantheon of deities known as Orishas. So those traditions accompanied West Africans who were brought to America as slaves, and eventually combined with Western religions such as Catholicism, that many slaves were forced, not pushed, to embrace. You were forced. Trying to be slick here, and I'm not going to have that. By the early 19th century, Cuban Senorita, Brazilian Camoli, Haitian voodoo, and other centric faiths have merged as a result. In cities like New Orleans, voodoo, slightly different from Haitian Vaudou, and hoodoo, which was descended from West African faiths, grew popular. Each practice, which involved manipulating, multiplying candles, incense, or water to achieve desired results, may give slaves a sense of power over minimum. Modern black witches are practicing Yoruba faiths with a few millennial touches. They build altars to their ancestors so they can see advice on everything from romance to professional advancement, casting spells on the using emojis to help manage depression, and surround themselves with crystals in hope that they will relieve stress, and burn sage to clean their apartments of negative energy. Some hallmarks of millennial spirituality is common among both white and African American witches. They're typically disillusioned with the hierarchical institutions, like the church, for example, attracted to the do-yourself, spiritual but not religious practices and the use of the crystals. But the budding black witch community also has unique traits, including a desire for safe spaces, awareness for cultural appropriation, and independence for the digital religion. Many black witches nervous about practicing witchcraft openly really have more comfortable meetings online than in person. Some fear they will be shamed by their devout Christian parents, according to Margarita Gilroy, a Boston University professor who studied African religion in the digital age. The internet is almost kind of like a hush harbor for these witches of color, Gilroy said, referring to places where the slaves gathered in a secret place to practice their religion in Alabama, America. An online and an avatar handle shows women to speak freely. A popular Tumblr promotes the inspirational measures of black witches, and Facebook group for women have thousands of members each, while some has developed their own smartphone apps. Some young women at Baltimore's convention told me that their parents had long hid their grandparent mothers or great-grandmothers' involvement in witchcraft, a decision the millennials resent, until they realized their parents had felt the need to suppress any talk of magic because their ancestors was harshly punished for the ritual. I'll put the highly part in there. New Orleans, for example, saw sweeping arrests of voodooists in the 19th century. Monica Jeffries, a 28-year-old teacher who had playfully donned a pointed witch hat for the convention, grew up in the Apostolic Church. She broke ties with it 4 years ago. She said her mother had forced Christianity on her. Jeffries sometimes calls home trying to figure out why. I'm asking a question about Christianity, and I'm like, why? Why would you do this to us? She still can't give me the answers. Some millennials enter the black witch community seeking answers, yet others are simply hungry for a place where they can belong. Mambu Nyansa, a witch who grew up in Panama, told me witchcraft serves as a safe haven for some LGBT member youth who don't feel welcome in the church. Equal number of online posts by and about LGBT witches attest to the overlap between queer and community in the witch communities. Empowerment is unmistakably an aspect of the Black Witch Convention. Several repeated with talks of sexual trauma, suppression, and self-acceptance. It felt like group therapy. Women cried or spoke in troubling ways that described experiences of abuse. While the Me Too movement is out there, there are still African American women who still out there who don't have a voice. We are not represented, Melissa said in her keynote. I know for one thing that the studying African religion is, I never seen one subservient goddess. So why are we sitting here thinking we have to be subservient? Melissa went on to distinguish between African witchcraft and New Age shit, like the witches who gathered to hex Donald Trump and Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Some Black witches practices astrology, say, and are what the Pew Research Center consider New Age. In fact, recent Pew study found that a related belief that New Age ideas come high among the community and many conventions attendees came from, historically Black Christian denomination. The study found that New Age and Christian traditions often coexist in the same person on a few view at the convention. While some witches told me they were finished with Christianity, others said they still attend church and argue that Christianity and African witchcraft are complementary and not mutually exclusive. As Amelita put it, the Bible ain't nothing but a big old spell book. For the Black witch community, openness to other religions is still deeply embedded where some people should be kept out. On one hand, there's a sense that they now have a much easier time embracing their ancestors' tradition because white millennials have rebranded witchcraft. That's cool. There is, however, a concern that white witches are appropriating African rituals and may not properly understand them. White women these days are making witches' covens as something fun. It's just fun for them, Yanta said. But in our tradition, witches have to be totally initiated and be considered a witch. Initiation typically involves receiving oral instructions and hands-on training from an elder. That sort of embodiment, Yanta said, young witches don't get because they rely too much on digital religion. In-person gatherings like the Black Witches Convention are meant to serve an antidote for the over-reliance on the internet culture. The millennials I spoke to also was necessary and counterbalance, but they also emphasize how much of value the highly individual DIY rituals they practice at home. The church is oppressive for a lot of Black women, said Tamara Young, a 32-year-old program analyst. But these African traditions empower women. They are empowering you to have a hand in what you're doing, to create your own magic. So this is a story. This is a story from the Atlantic. I really didn't care for the title too much, but the story is a pretty good story that's showing that, that we're going back to our African roots and our African traditions, which is culture. Like I said before, you can't have, without cultural nationalism, is the glue that brings everything come together. You know what I'm saying? Once you do identify and stick to your culture and what you do, then you can develop plans and stuff off of that. You know what I'm saying? Strategy. Economic strategy. These women that got smart apps. You know what I'm saying? Gotta give it up to these sisters. They got smart apps, they got locations on the line. They're basically making the moves happen. So I'm very proud to salute these sisters doing what they're doing, these queens doing what they're doing, getting back to their original religion like that. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. Much love. We're gonna have a couple more videos like this. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get back and do it and make it happen. So, much love. Peace.